Back to the development of the Schumann Piano Quintet. All those runny eighth notes. I think I achieved some success, which I'm going to have to reinforce. Of course, there's more later, but let's do the little bridge at either rehearsal number 7 or G, depending on your edition. I want to see what happens here. Previous visit, I took this octave in the left hand. That's why I same theme as at the beginning, just a different key. So certainly unexpected to be able to take this with the right hand, but that's what Schumann intends. It works very well. So just looking for clarity there. Helpful to remind yourself in chamber music or concerti or whatever when you're alone. So, clearing the texture. You decide what works for you at that point. Especially not to let the sonority bleed through. Here we go again. Keep laughing over these keys. I played an A flat minor before, playing a G flat minor. That's just too bizarre. The relative minor of B double flat major is just the silliest thing. It's not my imagination. My string partners believe the same thing. Of course, physically speaking, it doesn't matter at all what you call it. What matters is how it feels and how it sounds. I should point out that this series of eighth passages is so long that your state of mind is a tremendously important thing. In other words, I have to, as I did with the first section, I feel I got somewhere with it, and I can, pretty soon I'll come back to it, like tomorrow for example, and try to seal the deal with that particular passage. But then I have to go back into it again here and be really clear about key and hand sensation or choreography, and have a sense of simplicity and trustworthiness about it. Otherwise it won't work. It's just too much coming at you too constantly, and so you need to transcend that. You need to float above it and realize not only is it not difficult, but it's downright fun to play. So as before, there's arpeggios. Series of these, typically 4 of them like that. Effectively a pseudo-augmented chord. And as always, a repetition on the top. I'm just looking or feeling for the most organic sense of how to move from place to place. Interestingly enough, there's only one of these four. I'm using a turning around finger, 5, 4, 2, 1. Because of the three black notes followed by the white note and the big interval of the octave. So the other octaves are achieved from 2 to 2. Strong key sense for G flat minor. Never had to develop it. I could think F sharp minor, but it doesn't look like F sharp minor. It feels like F sharp minor. I've got to make sure that my interaction with the score is not too intense. In other words, I've got to remind myself that in my head, that somewhere in my body or in my head, I've translated what I see into something more meaningful to me. Okay. Again, augmented. D flat minor, of course, the famous relative minor to F flat major. I wonder why I did that. At the top I put fourth finger. Not the fingering I used at the bottom, so I'm wondering why. I try to be consistent with the previous one. Sensation is just about the same, so it leaves me a little puzzled. I mean, it's only me of a few days ago, but I can't quite figure me out. I'm a puzzle. I'm going to put fifth back there. And 3. If the interval is big, I want 3 rather than 4 there. Perfect this by starting at the end to make sure I can get there. 5, 4, 5, 3. All right. We gotta compare this. You know, last time I used a 5, 4 there. And I hadn't written anything, so that 5, 4 really is good for me. The spread out 5, 4, the compact 5, 4, and then finally 5, 3. So 5, 3 on the bottom, 5, 3 on the top. And I want to compare that with what was previous. 3, 4, 4, 3. See, there's a pattern that happens to work. The particular topography is very similar in both keys. So I have to remind myself of that fact. Nice. I'm again really mystified with the numbers of times I've used 4. I may go back and review my previous experiences to see what my explanation to myself was and to you. I think the closeness of it, I was probably able to toss my hand around quite well, but fifth finger gives me more room to get to the upper notes. Silly me. Yep. I've forgotten. When I'm on the top with 5, then I can link the top chord with the second one. So that's, unfortunately, I think I'm guilty of fuzzy thinking. This is correct what I said, but I was linking the wrong ones. So this is the end of phrase. Now, 5 to 4, 5 to 4, and that's what I want. And 5. And start again. Flat minor. I'm going to comment to myself. I'm going to try to describe a sensation relationship. So, early on, the augmented chords with a black note on top and 2 white notes. So what do we have here? Black note on top and 2 white notes early on. Let's see. 5/4 for these little minor thirds rather than 5/3. It differentiates them well for me and keeps my hand calm. As you can tell, there's no time to think. If I try to think, or at least think too obviously and consciously, the notes go by too quickly. I don't have time. What I can do is remember sensations. In other words, chunks of information that all add up to one thing. Ultimately, I want all of these to add up to one thing. Okay, so 4, 4, 4, 4. Boy, just telling myself that makes a difference. 4, 4, 3. 3, 4, 4, 3. Nice. 4, 4, 3. Ooh. Let's get to it. Make sure the getting to is easy. So many of these are grouped top to bottom, and this one is grouped going up. Things like this. It's the top one followed by the bottom one. And this one. So, I'm curious, in spite of the musical change in combination, I'm curious whether physically and mentally associating the top one with the bottom one, it's going to be slightly different intervals. Will it make it easier? Will it make it physically more similar to the other ones? Starting here, in other words, start here. And the answer is yes. So this is one of those situations where the musical combination is misleading. That's why I'm so fond about tongue twisters, because the obvious combination of words and sounds that makes sense to the ear and to the mind is not the best way in which the body can accomplish putting those combinations together. So you rearrange the combinations, you group them in accordance with what makes you most comfortable, and then you make it sound intelligible the way it's supposed to sound. But you know that you've grouped it in accordance with what's technically easiest, not what makes the most sense on the surface. So in this case, this is the answering figure, but going from here to here is harder than going from there to there. So I draw my little line, finish here, start here, and wow, E flat minor, that's a standard key with only 6 flats instead of 7 or 8 or 9. Feel the irony? Okay, good. This to this. Okay, I have to find. I know I like this 5, 4, 2, 1, the turn finger, but I have to find a way of getting to it. This is shortly after 9, which is also I. Rehearsal number 9 or I. For example, if I'm going like this, if I'm on 2 on F, then I want to go to 5 on A flat. The reason, of course, I want to go to 2 on A flat is to get that little turn finger. It's nasty, so I have to decide if it's worth it. Again, the solution, if I'm going to rely on it, is to deliver only to the A flat, but not to set up the whole hand. So I move my hand into the A flat, spread out somewhat. Nice. So this to this and this to this. This. Okay. Okay. Still making myself a little nervous with this. An alternative would be to stick with 4, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, then 5 here. That's what I experienced earlier on, and then changed my mind about the 5th finger. Earlier on, having a chain of 4th finger groups. So I might do that. 4, 4, 4, and then 3, 5. Okay. 4, 4. This is from the end of the very, very end of the second measure of 9 or I. 4, 2, 4, 2. And then 3, splitting the difference from 1 to 3 to 5, back to the 5th finger. Okay, so 5, 4, 4, 2, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5, 3. Okay, I like that. Unfortunately, it's a little different from what I've done before, so I have to put up with a slight difference. E flat minor. 3, 3, 4, 3. That's mostly 3s as opposed to 4s, because where I would sometimes do a turnover fingering with all black notes or something like that, I wouldn't dream of doing that here, where I have E flat, B flat, F, G flat. I'm going to put my thumb on the F, of course. So 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1, 2, 5, 3, 1, 2, 5, 4, 1, 2 for the smaller interval, and back to 5, 3. So. And I might just practice the linkages from the octaves. 5, 2. Nice. Point out that this whole last section I've just been doing is all parallel So I'm going to go back and see what the left hand is up to and how it fits. I'm just mildly worried that I might have found a fingering that's really great for my right hand but doesn't coordinate well with my left hand. That's always a possibility. So no, it's going to work out. Can I play it? No, not yet. But that really has nothing to do with when you start something or in the midst of it. You will tend to know at a certain point that it's going to work out because there's a sense of purposefulness to what you're doing. There's a sense of logic. There's physically and orally something compelling about your work. There's a recognition that the goal is in sight, or that the goal has a simplicity to it or a well-defined quality to it. Otherwise, if you just practice endlessly hoping to be struck by lightning or inspiration, it may happen, but it may not. I mean, I do plenty of noodly things, but it's typically intelligent noodling, where I'm trying a variety of things that feel relatively good to me, and then I try to string them together. So here, my left hand responds pretty quickly to what my right hand is doing. This eighth note, I play alone. But then my partners, the lower two strings, the viola and the cello, come in on the second beat. They're playing the first beat. So I have just a small amount of latitude, but I wouldn't want to take a lot. And I'm fine. I'm going between two of the same chord position. And again, flinging my hand that quickly to an isolated fifth, I have to have a flat enough finger and a diagonal enough finger, for my purposes, to guarantee the G flat, regardless of what comes later. And this moderate parallelism. My right hand, my third finger is playing a black note, my third, and here a black note. Black, white, white note, thumb, white note, thumb. The only difference is the fifth finger is playing a black note here and a fourth finger here. It's close enough that the parallelism works for my body. So despite what these things often look like. For example, this is a diminished fourth. C down to G sharp, so it looks like a fourth on the page, feels like a third. I have to make sure that I don't react visually to what I would do as a sight reader and tend to put my hand in a fourth. I have to feel the major 30ness of it, and the tilt that would usually make me comfortable with that interval. Same chord twice, same hand position. 5-3-1-2 twice, or 5-3 and then 4-2-2-1. My initial impulse is 5 going to 4. But the parallelism is quite attractive too. I don't want to outsmart myself, in other words. An intellectually slick idea, for example, that doesn't quite work is not worth it. Even a theoretically persuasive idea is not worth it if it's just theoretical. Yeah. But I do like that fourth finger, so it's practical too, I think. See if it has staying power. Here's a perfect example of something where you can't anticipate the hand position. A quasi D flat chord, A flat, F, C sharp. If I leap up to there and try to grab that chord, my fourth finger will never find the F well, not plunked down like that. I'd have to find it like that. So what I really want is to just deliver my hand to the A flat and then go on from there. All right. This wonderfully chromatic section, which is completely unlike the other one, so I have to be very careful to redefine it, get reacquainted with it. So, Schumann has X amount of melodic room with which to play, so he makes this very sinewy thing to cram in all these notes to get himself back to E flat. I'm not initially persuaded that I understand the reason behind every chromaticism. I mean, it's persuasive in that it works, but I'm not in predicting mode yet. This is easy. Okay, so all these pseudo major chords create a parallelism. Well, it doesn't hint of E flat yet, which is where we're heading. It hints of change. But what I need for now is to take advantage of that knowledge of those major chords to remind me remember how to play this. I've got a tilt chord. I've got a black, white, black chord. I've got an all white chord and another all white chord. Tilt. Okay. Diminished, diminished, diminished. Seventh chord. Sensation under the hand, because you have both black note fifth fingers, but then you have a white note fifth finger, white note thumb on the first one and a black note thumb on the second one. So there's a significant shift in position than an all white note. So that's three different diminished chords, each with a different sensation. And white, white, black, that's the same as the first one in basic setup. Be thinking about my left hand. I want to be able to say I can play that by feel. So is also interesting, also because whole and half steps feel different depending where you are on the keyboard. So this is white to black thumb, white to white, black. After my bottom note each time. Well, here I have a turnaround. So here, on these two white note chords, do I go to 3 or do I go to 2? If I go to 3, they shift my hand toward the next chord. If I go to 2, there's an elegance of having 4 different fingers for 4 different keys. Is to go with 2 and stick with 2 on the F major chord. I rather like it. 2 and 2. Again, it's pencil. I can change my mind. I'm able to pass judgment on it fairly quickly because it sticks fairly quickly. That's a good sign. I'm barely thinking about it. I'm going way beyond the tempo I was going at a moment before. And what I learned from that is that I needed to think about what I was trying to make work before. Elegant though the solution may have been, it wasn't as elegant as this one because it didn't work as well. And it didn't feel as immediately responsive to my needs. Oh, I see, that's magic. So much faster than I'll need. So lacking resistance, which is the point, and so refined. I do have to remind myself, I am playing 5th finger twice. 5, 5, 5, 3. 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3. Okay, so that's the development. It's tricky in a way, but untricky in a way. And I think more than anything, I just have to remind myself, as I'm always reminding others, that the reinforcement, that the getting to that point of simplicity, of maximum transcendence and ease and calm all at the same time. In other words, that kind of thing. What I call cocktail piano process, or cocktail piano syndrome, which that sounds like a disease or something, but what cocktail pianists do when they're playing away and they're able to talk about your life history all at the same time. In other words, that requires compartmentalizing of what you do and trusting that the various arpeggios and scales or patterns or even songs that they play at the piano, in this case it really is songs, doesn't require all of their concentration. And if I require all of my concentration to do this, I'm using too much up. So I can look, be reminded, and it's really nice. So I know I'm on the right path. So, just for the sake of a cadence, I'll come back with the recap in a bit.